breaking James Bond news. Richard E. Grant cast as M.
Oh, wow, that's inspired. Yes, Alfie. Every time we do that bit, I'm like, what's he going to come up with next? But no, you've absolutely got it there. I thought we'd hit it last week with Taron Egerton, but no. Richard E. Grant makes perfect sense.
It's a little too close to Ralph Fiennes, I think, but I think he had something to it, a slight like craziness to the role. I think we need Richard E. Grant in more stuff. Fan of the podcast, of course. We've met him, haven't we? Big fan of him, and he's a big fan of us. But
I'd love to meet him again and actually have something of substance to tell him.
Yeah, other than, hi, I think we're the youngest ones here. Like,
we really liked you in Loki, in that one episode you were in.
It's funny, though, because at that point, I'd only ever seen him in Star Wars Loki and With Now and I. I'd only ever seen him in, like, 3 things. And now I've seen him in a few more. It would be great to actually see him again and have something of value to say.
Yeah, I'd probably ask him, what were you thinking when you said yes to Argyle, you idiots? You silly man! Is what I'd ask him.
That new trailer that he's in, though.
Yeah. Don't get me to say what the title is, because I don't know what it is. It's something 100.
He looks deluded in it, so...
That's his resting face, isn't it? And exactly the face he pulled when, at the premiere in Leicester Square of Thursday Murder Club, the adaptation of the Richard Osman book, he was asked, what's your favourite meal deal? And he went, what a meal deal.
I struggle to believe there's not... Everyone's had a meal deal at least once, no matter how posh you are.
That's a bit, surely. Don't get me wrong, he hasn't bought his own meal deal, but he's definitely eaten a meal deal.
I can see him as being someone who has that Victoria sponge sandwich that M&S did as his meal deal sandwich.
Yeah. And then sandwich, he'd go... Well, sorry, no, yeah, you've got the... drink, he would go the little bottle of... You know, there's little to-go bottles of Prosecco you can get. I mean, Prosecco's too low market for him, but yeah, he'd probably
get
something...
It's the best he can get. Yeah, of course. And then what about his snack? I'm thinking olives, probably. He seems like an olive kind of guy.
Yes. Yeah. That or something a little unhinged, like, I don't know, 2 boiled eggs or something.
That sounds like a meal deal I want.
We could all share a meal deal with Richard E. Grant. It'd be lovely. Hello and welcome back to episode 79 of Moving Up with your hosts, me, Adam Barlow.
And your other host, me, Alfie. Yeah, wait, he did that right then, because I'm so used to having to say,
oh, piss off.
Fuck's sake. Leave that in, that's a good intro. And me, Alfie Walker. We're a shambles, frankly. Don't know how we've got to 79 episodes.
Yeah, and yet here we are. We've been doing this for frankly far too long, with very little reward. But we're going to carry on going. And no, it's all joking aside. I think we've done very well. Like, we've got some loyal listeners out there that mean the world to us. We've got some fantastic opportunities that we've been able to attend. You know, film screenings, the BAFTAs, the last couple of years, and we've got the London Film Festival coming up in, just over a month. But next week, even, I'm going to the announcement of the film festival lineup. So that'll be great for episode 80. So stay tuned for that next week, listeners. But it's great fun. I think this has been a fantastic decision to start a podcast.
Yeah, indeed. And Mary Hogarth's our biggest supporter. She's always posting on LinkedIn, like, wow, I love how far these boys have come. It's so good. And we do always say it, but we have got a very small but loyal little fan base, and it's nice to see people email in and chat to us and DM us, and yeah, it's good. Doing these recordings do cheer me up. I often get home from work and feel like, just want to curl up in a ball and drown myself. But no, I have to smile and and go with it and talk to Adam, and Adam always cheers me up. So it's a little hobby, and we're happy with it. Hopefully it goes somewhere, but we'll see.
Yeah. Either way, we're having a laugh, and that's all that matters, really, isn't it?
Sounds like we're wrapping the podcast up. We've only just begun.
Yeah, right. Honestly, we're only 5 minutes in. Right, pick up the pace. Come on. This week, we have got some fantastic films to talk about. The biggest film Netflix has ever done. It's been watched by the most amount of people ever, I think. It's K-pop Demon Hunters, a film that came out about 2 months ago now. It's actually having some theatrical releases with karaoke sing-along versions. I didn't attend one of them. I just watched it at home by myself. But I was singing along, you know. Thank God no one else was there to hear it. That's all I'll say. But a very exciting film to talk about. So you've got that coming up. I also saw an early screening of Caught Stealing with Austin Butler, Matt Smith, Zoe Kravitz. Star-studded cast. Alfie, you caught a film as well. What's that one?
Yes, I managed to get to see Together. I watched it. It's been released on home video, so I managed to watch it in the comfort of my living room because all of my screenings nearby were far too late for me to turn out on a school night. So yeah, I managed to watch Dave Franco's newest sort of film. A bit of a body horror, a bit Substancesque, a little bit Cronenberg. Yeah, and I really enjoyed that. So we're going to get into a review of that as well.
Great, but before we get into that important reviewing stuff, I guess, as the professionals
This is what we do here, yeah.
Before we get into the podcast that you've been doing for almost 80 episodes, Alfie, how are you?
Fine here, Adam, thank you. Today was my late shift, and by that it means I have to start an hour later and finish an hour later, so not too horrendous. I was on a call and I was talking to someone as it got to 6 o'clock and I should have been done. That's the moment, and mum's the word, but the manager just disconnected me, so I didn't have to deal with the call. So shout out to her.
That's quite funny.
Just mid conversation and she just went boop. Like, I want to go home.
I also saw you attended the Victorious Festival on Monday, I want to say.
Yeah, Sunday. But yes,
Sunday.
It was excellent. I forgot about that. That was a really good thing I did over the weekend. A highlight of the bank holiday weekend. Yeah, we got there about midday, a little bit later than midday. It was me, Jake, and then we met one of Jake's friends there, and then my mum, dad, and a friend of the family, a couple, they were there, and Lenny was there. So we had a right good laugh together. We drank lots of alcohol, far too expensive for a festival, let me tell you that. Can of Thatcher's Haze. Go on, have a guess how much.
A can, what,
can
550 mils, that sort of? Or 440?
Yeah, like the 500, yeah, sort of like a bit less than a pint one.
It definitely shouldn't be over £6.
The grand total of £7.95
95
per can.
That's
£8
wild.
a can.
Good lord.
Go
Are they
to a
having
pub in
laugh?
London and it's cheaper. Go to the Goodwood races and it's cheaper. I've never been to a festival or an outing or anything like that, a grand day out, and had to pay £8. Not even for a pint. It was just a can of Thatcher's Haze. Other ciders are available. Abysmal prices, but no, lineup was excellent. We saw Kings of Leon were the final act. They were excellent. The Zootons were there. There was a cool band called The Wave, who have a member of Blur as their front man. No, it was a really good day, really good fun, lots of drinking, lots of sun.
Lovely stuff.
What about you though, Adam? Come on, spill the beans on the Beeb. What's going on? What are you up to this weekend? Tell us.
I didn't have any Beeb action this week, actually. Bit of a quiet one. I guess, you know, you got to play hard, work hard, and this was definitely a work hard week where I was just doing bits of admin here and there. Yeah, nothing too exciting. The one thing that does stick out, though, yesterday there was a very late story in the Bournemouth Echo of a pop-up Netflix event celebrating the Part 2 release of Season 2 of Wednesday, which is very convoluted. But yeah, anyway, they've only done it in Bournemouth and in Brighton, I think. No, Blackpool, yeah. And yeah, it was basically this beach-themed kind of beach hut-esque, but obviously it's very drab and black and dark, like the Addams Family, vibe. Yeah, just celebrating the show. So we went along. They had the actual prop of thing, the hands.
Very cool.
The prosthetic of that. That was really grim. It looked horrible. I think you were allowed to touch it, but I didn't want to get anywhere near it. Yeah, you had a little photo opportunity. It was really nice. It was very detailed. Lots of, I don't know if they were official props other than the hand, but it was nice. It went along very last minute, but we got given a little postcard of the picture we got taken. We got some rock candy, which I've never actually had rock candy, so
Is it a
I'm
stick
excited
of
to try
rock?
that. Yeah.
Like you'd buy when you go to like a sea. Yeah, ironic, I guess, living in a seaside town, but you've never had a stick of rock. But I guess if you live there, why would you need to go to the seafront and buy one? I remember like going on holiday to Cornwall and buying a stick of rock. Enjoy that. I'm not a fan, but you might love it.
Maybe. Oh, that should have been the taste test this week, but I'm not prepared. Darn. We'll do that next week.
Shall we get on with the main event, Adam? What are you going to review first?
Yeah, let's go for it. Let's talk hottie, Austin Butler in Caught Stealing.
From the highly regarded director, Darren Aronofsky, for Dream. Did he do The Whale as well? I think he did that, right? Yeah, he's like highly regarded. So the new film from him, Caught Stealing, and like Adam said at the beginning there, an absolutely smoking cast. Zoe Kravitz, Austin Butler, Matt Smith, Bad Bunny. Take it away, Adam. How was this film?
This film was loads of fun. I said, I think last week, that the trailer was very playful, looked chaotic, looked full of character, really bursting with energy. And I'm glad to report that the film lives up to that. I don't think everyone's... Well, I think it is a bit of a crowd pleaser, actually, now I think about it. But it's got some violence into it. It's quite gritty. It's quite grimy. It's set in this 90s time period in New York City. Matt Smith plays a punk rocker called Russ. He's got a huge mohican. He's very stylized. He's wearing denim with spikes all over his jacket. He's got tattoos. He's involved in in this drugs trade and money laundering, that sort of thing. Austin Butler's the lead character, though. He plays a guy called Hank. Growing up at school, he was a very hopeful baseball player, really talented. Sort of had his whole career, whole life ahead of him. And unfortunately, he gets into a car crash with his friend. His friend ends up going through the windscreen and dying. Austin Butler's character, he injures his leg and is thus unable to play baseball professionally. So that's his kind of, the main thing that sort of is really eating away at him. He feels a little bit unfulfilled. He works at a bar. He's got a girlfriend played by Zoe Kravitz, who's called Yvonne. She's a paramedic. Very smart, sort of cool, level-headed, very sexy. They have a fantastic sex scene at the start of this film. It's not... It makes me sound really weird. It's not like... Let me backtrack. It's not anything...
No, go on, carry on. I was
Guys,
riled
please.
up in that cinema. I was rubbing my knees and...
Oh, God. No, it's... Don't get me wrong. You don't see anything crazy. Not that you need to, obviously. But it's just very... Like, the chemistry is electric. I'll say that. And then they have a great cutaway gag that's really catches you off guard. So it's funny. This film has a great sense of humour. A phenomenal performance by a cat called Tonic. I think it was actually a character played by 3 different cats, I want to say. But really brilliant. Like when you think of iconic animal performances in films, sometimes they just completely CGI an animal. Argyle. Sometimes they, they really enhance the story, like Marley and Me, whatever, any other animal performance you can think of. This is up there, like top tier. It's such a cute cat and also quite integral to the plot, which I love. So that's a really nice aspect of the film. Aside from the cat, though, obviously Austin Butler, Matt Smith, great. Zoe Kravitz, excellent as always. Bad Bunny, you mentioned, only a small role, but very charismatic, very playful. Enjoyed seeing him here. I think I'd only really seen him in
The SNL sketch with Pedro Pascal.
Yeah. And,
Matthew, I'm here.
Bullet Train as well. That's the other one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's good. He's good fun. Regina King, an actress I'm not all that familiar with, but she is, again, very playful, really understands the role that she's playing, and it's sort of a to and fro. Yeah, she has a lot of twists, her character, I'll say that. Liev Schreiber in there with as a double act with Vincent D'Onofrio. They're these two Jewish guys, very religious, very much a family unit. Like, they go home at the end of the day and have dinner with their mum and their family. They obey all the religious rules day in, day out, and yet when they leave the house, they are lethal, very violent assassins and hitmen, which is just such a great juxtaposition. Yeah, I just really enjoyed those characters. They've got some great one-liners and are in a really nice dynamic. That's kind of the main cast members to shout out, I think, at the moment. But yeah, this film is twisty, turny, entertaining, great punk rock soundtrack, really has you jumping in your seat. Really, the humour all hits as well, I would say. I saw it at an early My Limitless screening, so yeah, it is an audience full of people that enjoy cinema, that probably have seen other Darren Aronofsky films. I myself have only seen The Whale off the top of my head. Requiem for a Dream's been on my list for ages, as has...
Black Swan is him as well, isn't it?
Yeah, Black Swan. Yeah, both of them I need to get around to, and I'm sure I would enjoy, but I know The Whale is slightly, I don't know, maybe a little bit out of his wheelhouse, and then this even more so. So I don't know if because I did really enjoy this, I don't know if I'll necessarily enjoy his other stuff, but I'm certainly intrigued to watch it. Yeah, I do think it may not be the most memorable of films, but to me at least, I think this came along at the right time. I felt like, regardless of how good films had been this year, I don't know if there's been anything that surprising. I liked Eddington last week, as I discussed, but this film actually made me think, I'm going to drop that down half a star and give this 4.5 stars instead, because I was going to give it 4. And actually I was like, you know what? I can't really fault it. I just think it zips by at sort of a lightning pace. That is a great plot as well, quite emotional, and it makes you give a damn about any of the characters, which is nice. You could easily do a film like this where you don't really care where anyone ends up. You just want to see the action unfold. But actually, no. Austin Butler is a charismatic, sexy, charming, thoughtful, clever, smart character that I think really holds up this film. And then Matt Smith, again, when he's on screen, an absolute delight, doing something so different, so fresh for him. And I think it really worked. So whenever they're on screen together, it's just gold. So I really would recommend seeing Caught Stealing. Probably a nice surprise, and yeah, I can see myself rewatching this every now and then. I think my parents will love it. I think it's one of those films where you could throw it on Saturday night, and I think your whole family would have a good chuckle, and at the end you'd sit back and be like, oh, I enjoyed that. Yeah, that was good. Yeah, that was not bad actually, mate. Thanks for that. And I'm like, yeah, you're welcome.
It's funny because you can say that. We often do that. We often say, oh, it's a Saturday night film. But I think there's levels to that, because we said like Nobody last week. You said that was a Saturday night film. But like this is clearly on another level to probably Nobody. But I think, yeah, what you said, it sounds excellent. You're right about Austin Butler. He is getting all the recognition he needs because he is excellent. But I think Matt Smith is underrated. I think Matt Smith is a really good actor, and every time he's in something, he is completely different to how he is in another performance. I know you haven't watched it, but House of the Dragon, he's in that, and he plays like, if you've just seen him in something like Doctor Who, and then you watch him as this like incestuous sort of evil, like anti-hero almost, like royal prince riding a dragon and slaughtering people, like. And then I guess you'd watch him in something like this. Like every role he's in, he proper embodies it, and he's so good.
That's great. Yeah, he's an actor that I probably haven't watched all that much of. I don't know. I think he always sort of puts me off as Doctor Who a little bit. Not a show that I've really dived into that deeply. And this is probably sacrilegious to say, but I've always preferred David Tennant in the clips I have seen. I think there's something about Matt Smith's enigmatic performance as the Doctor that is
a little bit maybe too much.
Yeah,
I agree.
It's a little bit off-putting in my opinion, but he sort of crops up in random shows and films, and you're like, oh, it's Matt Smith. I mean, namely Morbius, but, you know, he's done better stuff than that, of course, and he's always an enjoyable actor to see. You kind of know you're in safe hands whenever he's on screen.
He's been cast in the new Star Wars film as well, hasn't he? Because he was cast as a young Palpatine in Rise of Skywalker, and then they cut that whole thing. But they've now said, no, we are having him as a villain in the new Star Wars film that's out in 2027, I believe.
Yeah, of course. Oh, he's absolutely pitch perfect for that, isn't he? Now, it's a problem we've all had from time to time. Maybe you're a bit sleepy, you wake up in the morning, and certainly I've experienced it. I'll blink, I'll do a heavy blink, and with the sleepy dust in my eyes, sometimes one of my eyelids will stay stuck down, and then I've got to sort of really force it open and be like, okay, mate, look at the world with both eyes. Just take it like a champ. Imagine that, but with your whole limbs sticking to your partner's body. That's what Together's about.
From sleepy dust to turning into another person, eh?
That's how it starts.
This film, I don't know if it's pure coincidence releasing this soon after The Substance, but there's like clearly some similarities with the whole sort of two bodies becoming one. And I know that's not at all where the genre's originated, and I know sort of body horror and that. We've got like Cronenberg and The Fly to thank, and obviously older stuff, but there is some real similarities, and obviously it's a different situation, different scenario, but yeah, there's something slightly substancey about this, which is excellent because The Substance was so good, and I think in hindsight is my favourite film of last year, and Substance is the superior film. I would give Substance 5 out of 5, but this film was fun, super fun. It knows exactly what it is. It's a bit campy, it's eerie, it's got some excellent sort of viscera and body horror, and it's got some really like great sort of horror performances from the two main actors. So yeah, we've got Dave Franco and Alison Brie, and they are basically sort of the only characters. You get a bit of an intro where they're heading for a new start in a small countryside town. You sort of just go off with them, and you get the odd person. You'll get a teacher at her new job, and you get their neighbour. But it's quite a small cast, and it really does focus on them in this house. Summarising the plot, so yeah, the discovery of some information about a couple who lived there before and went missing. You find that out quite early. You find out about a sunken cult church in the forest, and you're like, oh, well, that's definitely coming back, isn't it? And it's got a generally sort of uneasy atmosphere, and the story, I'd say, quite fastly unravels, and you can really see where it's going. Pretty much sort of 20 minutes in, maybe 25, 30 minutes in, you're like, I know exactly how this is ending, which is fair enough. The film wears its premise on its sleeve. The opening scene is of two dogs drinking from a big puddle in this sunken church, and then within 30 seconds, it sort of cuts to them molded into one dog in it's really quite gross, and it's a good practical effect. I think it looks practical. And it's not hiding what this film's about. If you've seen a trailer, you've seen the poster, you've watched the first 5 minutes, you're like, oh, okay, these people are getting stuck together, and that's the whole film. And it really is. But it has fun with it. It really does. So yeah, like, as I said, it is kind of incredibly predictable. The moment you're introduced to the neighbour, one of the only other sort of characters in the film, you're like, well, he's clearly involved in this somehow, isn't he? He's too friendly. And I think that's maybe a telling sign of many horror films do that. The moment you find about this couple that went missing on a hike, you're like, well, we're definitely going to be bumping into them, aren't we? And yeah, the moment, I mean, it's not that much of a spoiler, but the moment the neighbour starts talking about his husband and that, you're like, all the jigsaw pieces fit into place, and you're like, right, yeah, this is predictable, but I know where it's going. Dave Franco really shines. I haven't seen him in much. I don't know about you, but I think I've seen him in one horror film that came out during COVID. I can't remember the name of it. I think he directed and was in that. But he's really good in this. Really, really sort of amps up the horror in the same way you get Scream Queens and Jamie Lee Curtis in like the original Halloween. He really like sort of lends into it and clearly is having fun.
I think he's brilliant in the Lego Ninjago movie.
Who does he play in the Lego Ninjago movie?
Lloyd Garmadon, I think.
What a starring role for him there, right?
Yeah. Really put him on the map.
The premise of the film is like inherently quite silly, but it's no different, like you said, to the substance. So if you can suspend your disbelief and sort of embrace it, it's sort of two excellent performances, really amping up the horror of it and the silliness of it. They sort of shine a lot when it's at its most absurd, once it's really going off the rails and you've got this body horror kicking in and you've got the sort of ridiculousness of it. Like they embrace it, and it's quite fun for that. Like I said, none of the reveals really shocked me, and honestly there's not that much more body horror than what's already shown in the trailer, which is a little bit of a shame. I was expecting maybe just a few more scenes of, I don't know, chainsaws and cutting arms off, but there really is just the one that you see in the trailer. You mentioning the sex scene in your film that you watched made me remember the one in this film. And, well, take a guess.
Yeah.
You know exactly what's going to happen, like I said. And they really show it, unlike You're Caught Stealing, where they don't. No, they really show everything in this one. So I'm presuming it was a prosthetic.
Oh, gosh.
There was also quite a few sort of supernatural elements to it, which I didn't realise. I thought it was going to be just like this sort of gross body horror, but no, there's sort of like dream sequences and sort of ghosts. There's not ghosts, but sort of in the dreams there's ghosts, and there's some good jump scares. There's one that's straight out of The Grudge. There is an absolute excellent needle drop in the last sort of 5 minutes. They set it up a little bit earlier with like Spice Girls being her favourite album. And then, there's a Two Become One by the Spice Girls needle drop in the final act of the film. Smart. And it like makes you go, oh, this is excellent. Like I'm grinning a lot at this. This is like so silly, having a load of fun, and like, it embraces it. It's a great needle drop. Overall, though, the ending I wasn't a huge fan of. Like I've said many times, you know exactly where this film's going, so I won't spoil it, but you can guess. And it's just, it maybe over-explains a little too much. You get the whole film plays quite loosely with sort of the lore of it and that. It doesn't tell you what this water is that you see the dogs drinking from, you see them drinking from. You don't know where it comes from, where it started. It plays fairly loose with it. And then at the end, it sort of over-explains or overshows. I maybe would have preferred sort of leaving it a little bit ambiguous in that last literally 5 seconds, because whatever you imagine in your head, I don't think it can sort of live up to the expectation. So that the ending didn't do it quite for me. But absolutely, it's a good film. I really enjoyed it. I gave it 3.5. And I think you said this when you said people moaned at you for giving a film 3.5. Like, no, that's a good film. That's a 7 out of 10. Like, this is a good film. And I'd highly recommend it. I think you'd be fine watching it. There's only one sort of, visceral scene that I think you'd struggle with. And overall, it's not that scary. But overall, this year, I think horror is on an absolute good run. We had some excellent horror films this year, and there's still a few to come out. This is like the revival of horror year. I think we're doing really good. Horror fans have been starved in previous years, but no, there's some really excellent films come out, and this is absolutely one of them.
They have, yeah. We've done a good job covering them as well, so feel free to go back through our back catalogue. You can see we did reviews for 28 Years Later. We did Weapons a couple of weeks ago.
Nosferatu at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, of course. Am I missing anything? Did we do the one with Sophie Thatcher? I can't remember.
Yeah, I did that one, yeah.
Companion, that was it. But it sounds interesting. I wonder, is it one of those films that I guess where you said it over-explains at the end? Maybe it'd be nicer if they kept it more open and vague, because then it lends itself to being more of... It's easier to call it a metaphor, perhaps, for those couples that are so closely intertwined that they sort of lose a bit of themselves. And maybe it'd be nicer if the film did lean into that premise more than actually just making it a supernatural event. It'd be maybe more fun for the general audiences if it was just completely like, oh, maybe it was all just a dream or interpretational.
It's a little... I mean, should we skip... Are you going to watch this one, Adam?
You can can spoil it, I guess, if you want.
Yeah,
Listeners,
so
spoiler warning.
skip forward 30 seconds to a minute, if you don't want to know. But yeah, so spoiler warning here. But in the final finale of the film, they do merge. They do become one. That is the finale, and you can guess that's going to happen. And obviously, you find out that the neighbor has already merged with his husband, and if you merge correctly, you look like a normal person. So you're like, oh wow, who is this person gonna be? Who are we gonna see? Because it's not gonna be Dave Franco, it's not gonna be Alison Brie. So who are they casting as their merged person? And it just didn't look very good. It was just like the whole way through the film, they're like, oh, my mum's coming on Sunday, so we need to have dinner with them. And then Sunday comes around and you follow the parents walking up to the door and they bang on the door. And I think I would have preferred them maybe cutting it there with not seeing what they look like. Because when they reveal them, it was just like, oh, like, this doesn't really look like either of them. It looked a bit weird, a bit CG. It's like, it looked a bit deep fakey maybe. It just looked like a teenage boy. Like, it was just kind of not a good reveal, and it did spoil it for me. But everything previous to that was excellent. The build up, the finding out of the neighbor, the seeing what happens when the merging goes wrong, and you've got this really, like, it looks like a Substance one where she had two heads growing out of her and it was all grotesque. You had that and it was like, oh wow, this is cool. Oh my God, are they going to merge? And then, they show the merge. It's super CG. It looks a little bit off, quite uncanny valley is going to. And then they show you once the merge is complete. And yeah, it just didn't do it for me. The ending slightly missed for me. Some people might love that ending. But I preferred a little bit more ambiguity, I think. Adam could not wait to watch this film. I was going to, didn't end up in the end. I thought I'd watch together instead. But Adam still watched this one. Take it away, Adam Barlow. Lenny recommended we watch this one last week on an email. How was K-pop Demon Hunters?
Yeah, so I'm just looking at this Guardian headline from a couple of days ago. K-pop Demon Hunters becomes Netflix's most watched film with 236 million views, Jesus, which is quite remarkable. Do you want to take a guess at what used to hold that title?
Oh, can I have a clue? Was it animated or live action?
It was live action.
Live action Netflix original. I genuinely don't know. I don't know.
So if I was to take a guess, I would have said it was, remember that Adam Sandler, Jennifer Aniston murder mystery one? It was just called Murder Mystery, wasn't it? Anyway, it's not that. It was Red Notice with Dwayne Johnson, Ryan Reynolds, and what's her name? Wonder Woman.
Gal Gadot,
yeah. And I remember watching it, and my mum and I, we watched the whole film, and then we were like, God, that was really crap. Like, we got to the end of it, it was just really boring and irritating as well.
That had the most watches, really. Wow.
Yeah, they sunk a load of money into it. And at the time, obviously, Ryan Reynolds wasn't as problematic as he is at the moment. Gal Gadot, I think everyone still had the wool over their eyes. And The Rock, although I've never really been a fan of The Rock kind of hasn't ever really missed, I guess. Apart from the Black Adam car crash, but apart from that, anyway, I'm glad that K-pop Demon Hunters has come along and slayed their way to the podium, because oh my goodness, what a film. This gives me the same vibes. In fact, it's made by Sony Animation, which would explain a lot. It gives me Spider-Verse vibes. It's got that very zany, high tempo, both with the dialogue and with the animation. The expressions on these characters' faces are heavily influenced, obviously, by anime and different styles of anime as well. So at some points they go into like a chibi character style. Sometimes they're more... I don't know enough about anime to describe it, to be honest. But they're more traditional, I guess, maybe a little bit more Pokemon-esque at sometimes. I know that's like anime light, but anyway, come on guys, I'm trying. I think, to put it simply, that it's really great. It's really funny, and clearly made with a load of love. The cast, I wasn't really familiar with anyone, I don't think, apart from good old Ken Jeong, who plays Bobby, their agent. He's only got a small role, but you can tell it's Ken Jeong. He's so good. He's so recognisable. His voice is brilliant, and he's unsurprisingly great in this film. But the three main characters, Rumi, Mira, and Zoe, these are the K-pop Demon Hunters. They're in a band called Huntrix, and they sell out stadium tours. They're the biggest bands in the world. Think of BTS, but a trio of girls. A bit like Blackpink, I guess. That sort of vibe, and it's just huge worldwide success. But they're also demon hunters. So over the years, a trio of girls or trio of women have been responsible for building, through the power of music, this shield that sort of is invisible to the average person, but a shield that stops demons from coming up from the depths of hell. Now, the demons aren't like scary in any way. They're just very stylized. Again, clearly inspired by lots of different folklore and other anime stories and Eastern culture. And I found the whole thing to be really exciting. And I'm like, you know what? I think they should definitely give this film a sequel. I think it's almost, I think you could put money on it that this is going to get a sequel, if not a TV spin-off, and probably another 3 or 4 sequels after that. I think this film has quite rightly taken over Red Notice. This is just so much more fun, and the songs are brilliant as well. Like I know we mentioned last week when we saw that they were in the charts. Encanto obviously did very well with the soundtrack in that, and musicals do tend to, when they're really good, break the charts, right? So I'm thinking Greatest Showman, I'm thinking Star is Born, things like that. But this film, every song in it, there's about 8 or 9, and each one is a banger, like genuinely really good. And it's not even like, I don't really listen to K-pop that much. I like BTS. I like, I like the songs that are mainstream that do make it, but I don't seek out that music genre, to be totally honest. But this film is just such a wonderful showcase for that culture, for that style of music. And yet it also has the action, because they're fighting demons every now and then. And it doesn't sound at all like it should blend. The poster looks so silly. I know your brother wrote in and was like, what on earth is K-pop Demon Hunters? He gave it a watch and loved it. And I'm in the same boat. Like, you don't expect this to be as good as it is. And yet it's really solid. It's got a good emotional punch at the end. Didn't make me cry or anything, but it certainly, hits you in the feels. It's not all fun and games. It does have a point to make, and it makes it very well. And yeah, as I say, I'd be happy to see these characters return. I think they're iconic, to use that very overused phrase, but I do think they are. They have great chemistry, and it's just a real enlightening and inspiring watch, I would say. Yeah. A-list star in Our Impressions Repertoire.
We're back. That was it. You heard right. We're back in the A-list star in Our Impressions Repertoire. How long's it been since we introduced the segment, Adam? This is why we're bringing it back this week.
So I had, Snapchat gives you your memories, and it says, a year ago you were doing this. And I had a photo of my laptop, and the caption just said, we fucked it after round 1. And it was like 6 names on the A-list star, and it was pretty wild already. So I thought I'd fact check before we jumped on this call. I've not told you yet, Alf, but technically it's not a year anniversary.
That was the whole. I mean, that couldn't be more on point for moving up, could it? Doing something wrong.
Exactly. But I will explain. It's the year anniversary of the retcon that we did. So when we got to episode 30. Ironically, we were reviewing Blink Twice, the Zoe Kravitz directed film. This week, we actually reviewed a film with her in it, which is quite funny. But yeah, we brought back the A-list star and decided, right, it got a bit out of hand, unsurprisingly. And we had to strip it back and restart, which is thankfully what we've carried on with since. But we thought it's been a year since, I don't know, the proper A-list star, let's put it like that, the official one. And
we thought Hollywood's all about remakes and sequels. We
Thank you.
just remade the A-list star.
Exactly. We would have done what any self-respecting Hollywood exec would have done, and we completely went bankrupt idea-wise and did something we already did. So here we are again, doing that thing again. So we brought it back. We're going to... We've not discussed this. We've both hopefully picked someone that we're going to add as a celebration of the A-list star and its place in our hearts.
That is correct. I think it's only right that before we add who we're adding, that you run through the current list. I do have my person in my head, and I can't believe that we haven't got this person on there yet. And much like you, I think maybe we did have them on there and we've forgotten. So do you want to run through the list so far, Adam? Who is on, in order, on the A-list star?
Okay. Start your timers now, guys. I'm going to run through everyone at breakneck speed. Okay. The A-list star in our Impressions Repertoire as of the 28th of August, 2025. Here we go. In heaven, we have me and you, Alfie. Then we have Steven Spielberg, Jeff Goldblum, Tom Cruise, Pedro Pascal, Paddington, Stitch, Richard E. Grant, Michael Caine, Peter Serafinovich, Michael Caine, regular, Lego Pharrell Williams, Mark Hamill, Brian Butterfield, Jezza Clarkson, Jennifer Coolidge, Paul Rudd, Tom Jones, Christopher Nolan, Sebastian Stan, Emily Stone, Timothy Chalamet, Robert Downey Jr., James A. Costa, actually, Austin Butler, Ayo Edebiri, Peter Serafinovich, the regular version, the Madeley, Richard Madeley, Christopher Walken, Warwick Davis, Rebel Wilson, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, Jack Black, Dakota Johnson, Jared Leto, and then in the bin we have Jonathan Ross, Robert Peston, Slimer, Oscar the Grouch, Jar Jar Binks, with Ron Swanson from Parks and Rec throwing a computer at them. And then you think that's done, you think it's over. We've got one more. We've got Adam Driver because Megalon descends him below the list.
Oh. I forgot that some of them were on there, to be honest. I'm quite impressed by that. The person I'm about to say is not on that list. Wouldn't it be funny if we've chosen the same person as our 1 year anniversary?
We must say, we have not, I promise you listeners, we have not discussed this. I'm worried we may have.
Yeah. I'm slightly.
Should we say it on the count of three? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. 3,
1,
2. Oh, we're counting. Oh. Which way are we counting?
Count down from 3. So 3,
Okay.
2, 1. Go on.
3, 2,
2,
1. Alan
Nicolas
Partridge.
Cage.
Okay. Can you imagine though?
I cannot believe that Alan Partridge isn't on there. You're quite
How
right.
is Nick Cage not on there? That's
We even did a
wild.
TikTok where you pretended to be Nick Cage and somehow he's not on there.
I think we must have forgotten him in the retcon. Same with Alan, to be honest. Well, what a fitting time to add them back on. Let's tackle Nicolas Cage first. I think he's got to be near the top. I'm a big fan of Nick Cage.
Absolutely. I'm going to say the reasoning, because obviously all of these people have got a reason for why they're on there. This isn't just arbitrary.
No.
I'd say probably he's an auteur of film. I'd probably say that, or maybe bees. Depends which one you want to put down.
Bees, yes. Sorry, that took me a second. Not the bees.
Not the bees.
Curly me isn't going to bring back your goddamn honey. Oh dear, I love him. Yeah, he's got to be at the top. Let's put him. Let's put him in with, I think, just below Michael Caine.
Yeah, I think that's a solid choice, mate.
It's very near the top.
I think he deserves to be up there with the founding fathers of the A. If we did a Mount Rushmore for the A-list star, you would have like Michael Caine, Brian Butterfield, Peter Serafinovich as Michael Caine, and Nick Cage on there. I think.
I agree. I very much agree. Yeah, that's good. Now, where do we add Alan Partridge? Really, the basis of a lot of our humour, I think.
I think he deserves to be up there with Peter. To be honest, it is one of the absolute, like you said, it's the basis for our humour. So many jokes, but so then many stupid references.
Peter's very low. He's very near the bottom, though. Peter. I don't know why we put him so low.
I guess we've got characters of Peter quite near the top, right?
Yeah, that's true. We'll put him up with the character of Pete. Let's put him. I think he's the best character. I think he is slightly. If push came to shove, I think he is slightly better and more, definitely more recognisable than Brian Butterfield, for example. So let's put him, I think, just under Richard E. Grant. Or above?
No, I wouldn't say above.
Okay. Sorry.
I think if we met, hold your horses, bite your tongue. I think if we met Alan Partridge, then maybe he would elevate above Richard E. Grant. But because we met Richard, I think he has to stay high up.
That's fair enough. Yeah.
Did you ever watch Penguin Tales?
Penguin Tales?
The film that was not. It's not Steve Coogan. Isn't it?
Yes. Yes, I did. I think. Yeah. Did I not review it on the show? I think I saw it and then didn't like it. So I was like, I might have mentioned it.
I think it might have been one of those passing reviews that we do sometimes where we go, I saw this. Next film.
Yeah, literally. It's definitely one of those movies. I'd probably skip that one. I've put the reason for this as just smell my cheese, you mother.
Two absolutely excellent additions to the A-list star there. Cue that jingle to roll us out.
A-list star. A-list star in Our Impressions Repertoire.
You know, one day we'll actually put some effort into that. I mean, Adam did put effort into it. I mean, of course, shaking that tub of Twiglets was hard work at Christmas. But compared to the Peter Serafina list, the jingle is has fallen far from grace now.
It's day and night, isn't it?
What films are we catching for next week, Adam Barlow?
I don't know.
Good preparation. Sure. So we've got The Roses, the Olivia Cumberbatch coming out. We've also got The Toxic Avenger, Peter Dinklage. Not too sure about that one. And then what else have we got? That's about it. Maybe no, I think that's it. So looks like we're watching The Roses.
I want to watch the Thursday Murder Club as well. So it might be a very British film. Oh, also, I forgot to say, Alf, you'll be jealous of this. I booked in iSense and 3D a screening of Jaws for the 50th anniversary on Saturday.
Oh, I miss Odeon so much. I said this to you before the pod, didn't I? Odeon just posted saying we're showing the first 3 Pirates of the Caribbean films again. And as you know, I genuinely adore those 3 films. I think they're so good. And then Adam was like, and they're showing Indiana Jones. I was like, oh, another knife to the heart. And now he tells me that he's watching Jaws. Oh, I miss the Odeon, my dude. I'm so gutted that I cannot watch these films. The View just does not do it.
I think it's such a missed opportunity because, I don't know, it's not really championing the state of cinema at the moment. But if they want to get people back in the cinema at just a random weekend without doing any fancy big event, all you have to do is pick any film from the 80s or the 90s and you will sell out that cinema, or play any Nolan film. That's all you've got to do.
Literally, just you get up a list, you have 500 or 1,000 best films of all time and pick any of them and run them. People will flock. You think how packed those Lord of the Rings showings we went to were back in Bournemouth, where we watched all 3 of them, which was mega impressive that we did that. But like every screening was chock-a-block. Like I would love to see those 3 original pirate films on the big screen. I think it would be so awesome. Like, I'm so jealous of you, mate. You are going to enjoy Jaws so much. God, I'm jealous.
I'll report back next week. But just a classic, isn't it? Absolute classic. You can let us know what you thought of the films discussed this week, or of Jaws, I guess, for the 50th anniversary, as we've just been speaking about it. But you can do so by going to our Instagram and TikTok. You can also see on those platforms at the moment the little video I put up about the Wednesday pop-up in Bournemouth, so that's quite fun to take a gander at. But the handles for both those platforms are at Movie On Up.
And then if you want to email in, you prefer the long-form prose rather than DMs on SocMed, you can email in. It's hello@movieonup.com. Check out our website while you're there as well. Just type it in, movieonup.com. It's a nice little website, a little bit about us, little portfolio of all the episodes. You can leave comments, and there's a link to email in. So please do. We'd love a little bit of engagement. Once again, it's hello@movieonup.com. .com.
And of course, dial 111 if it's not a serious emergency, but you still need medical attention, and call 999 if it is something that could be life-threatening.
I think that was a very Partridge outro there for a Partridge addition to the A-list star. So all I'll say is thank you very much and take it away, Alan Partridge.
Have a lovely evening, everybody. Lots of love. Alan Partridge.